Paliteotlak, good afternoon. Kualiyowal Nepantla, happy equinox to each and every one of you. My name is Chief Laura of Kalpulia Yolopaxin, part of an intertribal group of families that's reclaiming and retribalizing our community through our kinships, through ancestral, as ancestors, as our ancestors, have paved the way for us to do in these ways. I'm a keeper of the Nahuatlaca tradition of this continent that was common in what is now occupied Mexico. And I currently reside in Somisec territory in Yanaguana, which is the occupied city of San Antonio, Texas. I'm going to open up our space with some intention on this equinox, just, bringing in that harmony of creation, right? We are holding a lot in our bodies as we undo what we have learned through colonization, the harm that we've inherited, the pain that we've inherited, the trauma that we're currently living in, and at the same time, the resiliency, the joy, and the just the strength that our ancestors have endured and that we carry into our work moving forward for future generations. So I'm going to offer prayer to the directions in the Nahuatlaca tradition. So we start off to the eastern direction. So wherever you are, if you have, an altar, if you have a candle, if you have, some medicine that you would like to burn to open up this space. If we were together, we would probably be sitting in a circle. We would be, honoring the directions together. So if you are able to, go ahead and face to the eastern direction from wherever you're at, and then we will move to the western direction. Then from there, we'll move to the northern direction, and then the south, and then we will finish to the center direction, and the earth and each other. So that'll be the directions that we go in. In our first opening, we honor those that bring enlightenment, those that bring awakening in the eastern direction. We honor the knowledge and the conocimiento of our ancestors, of those that walk amongst us, of those that have walked before us, and those that are to walk ahead of us. With that, I'll open up in Nahuatl. Mitzplancinco moyocoyani teocoyani, mitzplancinco inejecat naucampa, mitzplancinco in Quetzalcoatl, in Huecali, Quetzalcoatl, in Tlahuizlampa. We honor the direction and ask permission of the direction of the light of the awakening, the great house of Quetzalcoatl, that one which brings knowledge and brings awakenings. Now we move to the western direction. So I'll speak into the camera so you can hear me, and then I'll face to the western direction. So the western direction in our tradition is called Cihuatlampa. It's the direction of transformation, of warrior women, of all of those that have died, giving birth, of all of those that help us transform and change and renew. Mitzplancinco moyocoyani teocoyani, mitzplancinco inejecat naucampa, mitzplancinco in Huecali, Xipetotec, mitzplancinco in Cihuatlampa, ometeo. And now we turn to the northern direction. The northern direction is that of the unknown, of the great mystery of creation, of our psyche, of the things that are unknown in our minds, and that of the resting place of our ancestors, the place that they go to find their rest. Mitzplancinco moyokoyani teokoyani, Mitzplancinco inehecat naucampa, Mitzplancinco in Huaycali, in Tezclatipoca, Mitzplancinco in Miclampa, Ometeo. And now we turn to the southern direction, to the direction of the future generations, of the warrior spirit, of those that are yet to come, and those that will guide us into the future. Mitzplancinco moyokoyani teokoyani, Mitzplancinco in Ejecat naucampa, Mitzplancinco in Huaycali huitzilopochtli, Mitzplancinco in Huitzlampa. And now we turn our attention and our hearts to the heavens, to the sky people, to all of the cosmos, the earth, the planets, all of that that exists outside of us that we see and don't see. Mitzpancinco moyokoyani, teokoyani, Mitzpancinco ometecutli omesiwat, Mitzpancinco inilwikamina tatatonatio inanamesli inwisnawak. Ometeot. And now we turn our hearts to the earth. Mitzplancinco moyokoyani teokoyani, Mitzplancinco tonancintlali cuatlique, inchalchivitlique, Mitzplancinco impactecat tonacatecutli tonacatsiwa intlasoteo. We turn to ask permission to our Mother Earth, to our home place, to the place that gives us sustenance and that provides for us, and that allows us to transform through love and through clarity with the waters that reside and flow through her. Mitzplancinco moyokoyani teokoyani, Mitzplancinco inishli in yolotzin, in tlazocamati, in tlokenawaki, palemuani, ometeo. So now we ask permission of each other, of our faces and our hearts, so that our hearts can reflect in our faces, and we show the outward world what is in our heart through our actions, through our words, through our sentiments and our feelings. And we ask permission of each other. We ask permission of all of our guides and the ancestors that we bring to this space today. Tlazocamati, thank you for honoring me in opening up this space. It is a great pleasure that we welcome you to Hot D.A.M. I'll pass it on. Ometeo.
Thank you, Chief Lauro, for that beautiful, beautiful offering. Just a beautiful way to bring us in. And may we make our ancestors proud with the work that we're going to do here today and throughout this whole process. Welcome, everyone, to the first day of school. So super stoked to have you here. This is our orientation to the Southern Movement Assembly's Freedom and Survival Schools, inspired by the Civil Rights Movement Freedom Schools and the American Indian Movement Survival Schools. We lovingly call it Hot D.A.M. And you can see, man, there's such creativity among the young folk here to create the graphics and name it after a hot sauce. And we really plan for it to be a hot and spicy conversation and space to be. We're really delighted that you're here. We had over 250 people register, and it looks like a good third of us have gathered here this evening. And we know others are still very much engaged, but schedules are what they are. And we wanted to honor the time that we're in and allow people to do it, as they can. So just super stoked. And it's a different kind of school though. We are really going to lean on relationships and healing and decolonizing practices to facilitate this work. This work is going to be led by an Indigenous team of facilitators, and you just met one of them, Chief Lauda, and you will meet the others between now and the break. I am Kim Pevia. I use she, they, cuz pronouns here in Red Springs, North Carolina, which is on the land of the Lumbee, Cheraw, and Tuscarora. I am Lumbee, and I say cuz because we always have to answer the question around here, who's your people? If you are one of the facilitators, if you would rename yourself with an asterisk and then put the D, the A, or the M in front of your name, it'll help me locate you. Appreciate that. I represent Alternate Roots and Indivisible on the Governance Council of the SMA, and my work is in the healing, emotional, and somatic arts. Just a couple of call logistics here for you. Going to ask you to mute if you're not speaking, but you're going to get a chance to talk in a few minutes. We're going to put you in some breakouts a little closer to the half hour here. We are recording this. You will be in small groups later, but feel free to use the chat function. We'll be monitoring that to make sure we catch any of your questions. And if you want to see who's speaking, because we are such a large group, you might want to use the speaker view. So in the upper right-hand corner, you have the view, gallery, or speaker, so that you can see who's going to be with us or who's speaking. And this evening, we're going to take some time to really ground, and we're going to do that as a way of modeling and practicing how we want your study groups to go. That it's not just an academic exercise, that it's not just about knowing things, but it's about taking the time to metabolize the information that we have, to really practice somatics and breathing through, to bring cultural arts and healing to the space so that we're not dragging our already traumatized bodies to add more work onto them without making space. So we're going to be doing some of that, which is why you were offered the prayer, and we'll be offering a grounding. We'll be talking about land. We will also be just really inviting you into some self-reflection, which is sort of how we want to hold this work. So yeah, if you haven't yet, please populate the chat with your name and pronouns and where you're calling from. And again, we really want to invite you to bring your whole selves into these spaces. These spaces can be challenging. Karma and I, who's on the Indigenous team that is with us this evening, you'll see them populating the chat. We learned that early on, as we had to really work our love and our relationship to explore language and stories and meaning around all of these things that colonization has us believing and thinking. And so we invite you to do the same, to let this process be iterative and generative and healing and transformative as we all work together towards our shared liberation. Yeah, Tom?
Did you say Tom? Oh.
I did. I just slid it right in there. You see how I did that? I'm passing the talking stick to you, Brother Tom. There you go.
Is this the time for introductions or me to say something about land?
Both and.
Okay. My name is Tom Kunish. I live here in outside of Nashville. I am from Chattanooga. I lived in Chattanooga for 30 years. I'm from Minnesota. My mom's a member of the Standing Rock Lakota Nation, and been working on decolonizing here in Middle Tennessee and getting to the roots of in doing a land acknowledgement of actually who was here and when and how it was transferred out of what were the original people's hands into other people's hands. And if I was going to say something about land, it is that at the root of land acknowledgement is land return, and we work that back to the empire that has colonized Turtle Island. And our goal in decolonizing is to know how that happened and where to return it to and how to be in relationship with those people. Is that good, Kim, or do you want more about Minnesota?
That's perfect.
Not Southern.
That's beautiful. Thank you. And Vivek, would you be passing the talking stick to you for a grounding?
Meku, me macha lup nawa kana hapnin tabunetika. Inigo yesa nididewahe monti. Inigo noki ejile peti. Just greeted you in the language of my people, which is Tudalo. I said greetings. My name is Morningstar. I am Yesa Bear Clan. I am she who carries the fire. My borrowed name is Vivette Jeffries Logan. I'm a citizen of the Okanichi Saponi Nation. I'm fortunate enough to live on my ancestral homeland. I walk, I be on my ancestral homeland. I live in Mebane, North Carolina. And I'm going to invite you all to come into the space, to come into your body, to slow down so you can be present. So I invite you to find a comfortable space, uncross your legs, put your hands on your legs, on your knees, and take a deep breath in and exhale. Take another deep breath in and fill up your belly. In and exhale. Okay. I want to invite you to find some spaciousness. The spaciousness that will allow you to notice. The spaciousness that will allow you to feel. The spaciousness that will allow you to see and to hear. The space that will allow you to slow down, to settle, to come home, and to be. So let's take another collective breath in and exhale. I'm going to read a piece from a book by an Ojibwe elder, Richard Wagamese. What defines me is not what I do, but what I receive. Out of a deep spiritual learning, I have received sobriety, recovery, and a working relationship with the God of my understanding, so that I have received grace. Out of that same yearning, I have received community, belonging, home, and the opportunity to be productive, so that I have received prosperity. Spiritual yearning has brought me friends, fellowship, brotherhood, family, and a life partner who expands me, so that I have received love. That same yearning has brought me calm, peace, prayer, compassion, and forgiveness, so that I have received joy and freedom. What defines me is not what I do, but what I receive, and I have received in great measure. And I hope you all can hold that through this hot damn school, and especially in the decolonization, because we're going to be unlearning everything that we've been socialized to believe. And usually the way that we're taught is that when we are uncomfortable, we do two things, fight or flee. And I will invite you to lean in. That discomfort is your growing edge. And when you fight and when we flee, we don't learn. And that is the intention of this empire that Tom talked about, to keep us at each other's throats. So in that last passage, it is, what is it that I can receive? And to be ready to receive, we have to be grounded in our bodies and know who we are. And so I ask you, well, I'm going to invite you one last breath together. Inhale. And exhale. I will close with biwa, which means thank you, but it also encompasses healing, wholeness, and all that is good. Biwa.
Thank you so much, Ms. Vivette. That was beautiful. My name is Brittany Hunt, everybody. I'm a member of the Lumbee Tribe of North Carolina, and I currently live in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is on the unceded territory of the Catawba people, and I'm one of the facilitators for this wonderful school. And before I do any sessions like this, I always am in kind of a deep thought about my grandmothers. I had a very special bond and relationship with both my grandmothers growing up. And both of them have since passed. My maternal grandmother passed in 2014. My paternal grandmother passed in 2019. So I am a grandmotherless Native woman, which is a strange position, I think, to be in. But I always think about my grandmothers, and I was thinking particularly today about two different stories of my grandmothers that I want to share with you really quickly. And I also want to invite you to reflect on people who've been really influential in your life. But one of my grandmas, my maternal grandmother, her name was Hazel, and we were sitting together one day, and I think we were probably watching a soap opera or Price is Right or one of those grandma shows that you always watch with your grandmas. And I had the hiccups really bad. And I was like, Grandma, what can I do to get rid of my hiccups? And she just ignored me, literally ignored me. And I was kind of frustrated, like, my grandma, I'm like her BFF. Why would she ignore me, right? But she didn't pay me any attention. And then a few moments later, she looked at me and she said, Brittany, I am missing 2 of my gold rings. Did you steal them? And I am looking at her so deeply hurt and offended that she would think me, her precious little granddaughter, I was her only granddaughter, that she would think that I would ever steal from her. And I was just kind of in shock. And then I looked at her and I said, Grandma, I would never, under any circumstances, steal from you. I can't believe that you would say that. And then she looked at me and she said, are your hiccups gone now? And I said, yes. And so she had scared them out of me. And so I bring that kind of grandmotherly energy with me in spaces now, that like quick-wittedness or that cleverness or that humor and the way she kind of pranked me. I'm a big prankster with my niece and nephew too, so I bring that energy with me always. And my other grandma was also very funny, sometimes inappropriately funny woman. I remember one day where I was watching a movie with her and my granddad, and it was How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. And she asked me, she said, what's the name of the movie? And I said, it's called How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. And she said, well, I've been trying to lose mine for 52 years. And so my granddad is just looking like, oh my goodness. So when I think about them, I think about all of the different wisdoms that they gave me that are not traditional grandmotherly wisdoms, I would think of in a sense, but that are full of humor and verve and vivacity and just funniness that they brought to me. And I bring that into the spaces that I enter, and I bring that energy with me. The law of thermodynamics says that energy doesn't die, it's just transferred. And so I've been thinking lately, like maybe the energy of my grandmothers didn't pass when they passed, it just was transferred to me and to my cousins or to my siblings. And so I want you to reflect on, whose energy do you carry with you today? Who are you reflecting on today? Who is a person who led you to this work? And so I want to invite you all to reflect on that either in the chat, or we're going to reflect on that later on in our breakout sessions as well. So thank you all for giving me the space to share some knowledge and some love and some humor from my grandmothers.
Thank you, Brittany. That's so good. Grandma shows. Shared language already. Look at us creating our own glossary. I love it. Yeah, and thank you for just the invitation for self-reflection. The very first week when you get your curriculum, it'll be an invitation into self-reflection, starting with you and what's already been hoisted on you by this empire. What are the thinkings and the beliefs that you already have around Indigenous folks, around the land? What are the stories that you've been taught? So it's really going to be an opportunity for you to dig in there and see what's in there. And then some readings and podcast, and what we're asking for is about an hour a week. And then you'll be coming together with your facilitation team. And I think you've heard from just about everyone. We will be bringing on one other Indigenous facilitator, and Karma Mayette. Karma, do you have sound yet? Maybe not. But Karma Mayette is here with us. Karma Mayette is a phenomenal human being, and has been my, as John Lewis talks about, my good troublemaker in this whole process. And we, even as we began to wade into these waters and figure out, as it began to bubble up, because this whole process has been literally a process in relationship building and practicas, and taking what we have and then moving it forward, and learning and growing it and making it better, and creating new language and doing whatever is necessary to get ourselves free. And Karma and I got in some of these conversations really early on, and I was really grateful to be in that work with Karma. And Karma has placed their information in the chat. So Karma Mayette, as a Black woman of ancestry indigenous to Turtle Island, Madaki Chickasaw, I come to this journey through the voices of my grandmothers urging me towards wholeness. My Mississippi roots stretch back farther than memory. I offer my road as a root woman in service to the healing of all my relations. I look forward to being with you all as we challenge ourselves to grow together. I come to the Southern Movement Assembly as a founding member of the Wind and Warrior, a liberatory healing arts collaborative. More about Karma and their background as an artist, activist, educator is at their website, karmamayette.com, Root Song, and Wind and Warrior, and those were found in the chat. So beautiful. You will be receiving a curriculum from your facilitator. And actually, I think we're a little bit ahead of schedule here. And so we can actually go to break early if we want, and then come back. Sound good?
Gonna need a few minutes to finish breakouts. This is Jennifer Crossland. You're just hearing a strange voice start talking at you. Jennifer Crossland, she, her, calling in from Mississippi Gulf Coast and Choctaw land. I'm doing the breakouts, and there's a few folks that if you don't have your full name, or at least your first name with your last initial, I don't know where to put you. So if you could help me by renaming yourself, and then that way we can get in rooms.
And it is now 7:10 on the East Coast, 6:10 Central. Let's break till 20 after the hour, come back, and then we'll talk about some logistics. We'll go into our rooms, you'll meet your crew, and we'll talk about what we're going to be talking about. So we'll see you in 10. Yeah, y'all, welcome back. Just want to take a few minutes to, oh yeah, somebody's asking to share the playlist.
Oh yeah, I'll share my whole playlist in the link.
Awesome, you rock. Yeah, you'll be getting aftercare guides that'll help you with some music that you can follow, and some just things that you can do to really help take care of yourself during this process. And music is a big part of it.
I don't think they can hear you, Papa.
Hi.
I don't think we can hear you, Puppy.
I'm hearing some baby medicine contributed to the conversation back there.
Yeah, my son wants to say hi.
Bring it. Love it. Let's bring the next generation. Liberation.
Do you want to say hi, good son?
Say hi back.
Hi.
Absolutely love it.
There's another one.
Yeah, just wanted to, and flipping through, and not everyone has their cameras on, but just seeing the names of so many folks in the space and some amazing elders. Carmel, is there anybody in particular you wanted to lift up? I see Miss Deborah in the space, and I mean, if I start calling names, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. Just so grateful for all the wisdom. I'm gonna put anybody in the chat that you wanna make sure that we lift up or give a chance to speak. Yeah, there's this Freedom and Survival School is really grounded in the people's first 100 days of the SMA 10. So as the new year was coming in, we knew we couldn't really count on anybody else to help us get free, but we could work together to get ourselves free. So we spent the first 100 days taking direct action, and we started political education and skill shares to meet the needs of our folks. And in this moment now, there's so much happening, and it's almost overwhelming what we're literally having to carry as we're even coming into this space. With IDA, we actually had some Indigenous facilitators that can't facilitate now because they were part of IDA and aren't able to participate. It's too much right now. And our hearts and minds and our actions are with the folks on the Gulf Coast who are still engaging in that while preparing for whatever is coming next. And then we see the state repression and white supremacy against the Haitians, against, yeah, so many places. Yeah. And so Karma is sending me a note to shout out, because I can't flip through these pages, but shout out to Alicia Foster, Rose Brewer, Miss Lily Owens. Oh, so grateful to have y'all here in the space. Can't wait to hear the wisdom y'all gonna bring in these multicultural, intergenerational, rich conversations y'all about to have. Cannot wait. And so why are we doing this? You know, Ayana Clemens, who is one of the governance council also with the SMA, says, we're doing this to make study sexy again. So we got the hot damn sauce and we're trying to make study sexy again. Not in that just totally academic way where you got to learn something, but that we can feel it and move through it and grow with it and be enriched by it and get liberated through it. And we're doing it because we all need the tools. I know I'm knee deep in, I'm at the other end of my toolkit right now, and I got a deep toolkit, but we need all the tools we can get right now. And also to deepen our relationships. I mean, COVID has us really still separated from each other in more ways than we want to be. Like, we would love to be able to be having this Freedom School in person, and we're really looking forward to our next SMA. But to be able to be together and to deepen our relationships and know that we're not in this work alone, but we have people all across the South who are doing this work. In the D about decolonization, in the A around abolition, and in the M in mutual aid, we're helping ourselves. We also need to deepen our understanding of history. What really happened on this land? I mean, you know, one of my favorite not early books, but really to get clear about what happened in Sarah Deer is, you know, the beginning and end of rape. It's really the understanding that this country was founded on rape culture and then just been dragged all the way through. And we really need to take some time to investigate our own current realities. We have all come through this white supremacy culture. And for us to investigate where it is in us is a really deep investigation. And it's in all of us. How could it be any other way? Without investigation, how could it be any other way? It is what we came up through. It's the systems. So to really begin to investigate our own current realities and get liberated from places where colonization is steeped in us. And these places can give us a great opportunity to study organizing examples. There's so much wisdom in this space already. Y'all are already out there doing good work. So how we're going to be able to learn from each other, I can't wait. Cannot wait. And to really shape our visions and to get clear about what it is that we want. My friend Carol McCord talks about, we all talk about what we want to be liberated from, but what is it we want to be liberated to? Like when we get liberated on the other side, what's it going to look like? What's it smelling like? What are folks doing? Are we singing? Are we dancing? What's happening over there in that liberated space? And we're doing this too because we need to get free. We just need to get free. Don't you feel it in your body? Like we just need to get free. We just need to get free. So we believe that the hot damn sauce is a liberatory space. We believe it's a great way for us to practice these three things. D, decolonizing, which really requires us to slow down, which sometimes seems very antithetical. It's like, you know, what do you mean slow down? Our hair's on fire. It's the both and. Everybody can't go all the time. We're going to burn out. It's figuring out who goes and who steps back and how we can really stay connected and stay in alignment with our communities. We are also part of the communities that we're serving. And really just considering that everything that's constructed around us was constructed in that white supremacy culture. So that gives us a chance to push against everything to see what's possible if that wasn't there, or what we would create if that wasn't there. So decolonization is a beautiful practice of how do we want to be? And let's slow down, let's be connected in our bodies, and let's validate our deeper ways of knowing. All of our knowing and our knowledge is not just in our head. When we ground our bodies and we get deep information, deep wisdom, a grounded body will resonate with the truth. So we are not dragged around by other people's tomfoolery because we're clear about what's going on. We know what the truth is. And abolition really requires us to organize during these times of crisis, to do this complex thing of take a break and then go. But to really organize during a crisis and not return to these harmful systems, but to really transform all the systems moving forward, to be aware of even how we come into space. We can do it in every space that we're in. We can always invite people into a breath. We can always insist that we not go back to those colonized ways. Before we were shut down in COVID, I was traveling across country and I was doing workshops, and I would always ask people, how many of you are living lives that are unsustainable? And I would say 95% of people were raising their hands, and that was before COVID. So now we've had all that stuff on top of us. Where are we putting all that? Where are we putting all that? So abolition means we don't want to go back to the way things used to be. We really want to create new systems and new ways of being, whether it be around policing or just all the ways that we can create something new and different. Abolish all things that are harmful and don't serve us and don't treat us as human beings and don't allow our dignity. We can get rid of all that. And mutual aid requires us to ask, what do our people need? You know, in Indigenous community, we talk about, what do you have to feed the people? The people are hungry. What do you have to feed the people? And mutual aid is basically that. It requires us to ask, what do our people need and what can we contribute? Like who has it and who needs it? And how do we get those two things together? And all that time that the SMA has been working together, we've been synthesizing information and creating a report. And if you want to know more about the Southern Movement Assembly, or if you're new to the Southern Movement Assembly, we certainly invite you to join if you're not a member, and to read the State of the South report, which was produced by the Southern Movement Assembly. It's a deeply thoughtful report. The South has something to say. I mean, as the South goes, so goes the rest of the country. And we're proud of that work that we do here, especially in D, A, and the M. So take a little bit of time over the next period of time and read the State of the South report. I think, Steph, did you put it, are you going to put it in the, beautiful. So yeah, if you would put in the chat, like, why did you register for the Southern Movement Assembly Freedom and Survival School? I know it might have been the amazing graphics, because you know that hot damn sauce is quite intriguing. Might have been that. Might have been a friend invited you. I don't know. But really think about it. Like, why did you register? What's going to keep you in this? Like doing the reading and showing up for the deeper conversations. That's connected to the heart. So it doesn't feel like an obligation or something that we have to do, but something that we come open-hearted to do each time that we want to have these conversations. So why did you register? What do you want to see? What is this liberated space that we're all working towards? So yeah, if you put that in the chat, I'd love to see what inspired you to come. Consciousness, vision, and strategy. What are you looking to get out of this work? Never pass an opportunity to learn more. Yes. That's a decolonizing practice when we think we've already learned everything. Beautiful. Doing the work to decolonize my own identity, to meet others doing the same work, feeling connected. Oh, it was definitely the graphic on the flyer. Props to our communications team for bringing that together. Learn best in communities. Boy, isn't that true? Isn't that true? It gives us a chance to investigate our stories too. So basically the commitment is that, like we said, once a month, you'll come to a 2-hour session with folks that you're actually going to meet in just a few minutes inside these rooms that Jennifer's been working diligently to open up on. You probably got a sneak preview a few minutes ago. Those rooms we're going to send you into to have some conversation. And you'll meet with those folks once a month for 2 hours. And then, like I said earlier, each week you'll have about an hour's worth of reading or a podcast or something. You might be the type to read it all in advance. That's up to you. It's not going to be doled out. You can do it at your own leisure. And so we're going to invite you into some study group team breakout rooms. And while you're in there, we really want you to spend some time in those 2 questions around that Brittany invited us into earlier, like who, you know, who spirit, what ancestor, who are you doing this work to think of, in memory of? And then also like your why, these responses that you're putting in here now. We want you to have some time in your breakout spaces. What's going to happen is you're going to go into your study group team, and each one will have a dedicated facilitation team that will be coordinating your group and supporting your group. There'll be somebody leading the decolonization, that's your Indigenous team. There'll be somebody who really is skilled in abolition work, doing the work on the ground, and mutual aid as the co-facilitators for the space. We're going to be breaking out into our availability based on whether or not you can meet on Sunday, Friday afternoon, Tuesday night, whatever that is. You'll be put into that space with your facilitator. While you're in there, we want to invite you to do what we did here. Take a breath, just take another breath, and just look and lean into the faces of the folks that you're going to be spending this next 6 months with in your group. And just introduce yourselves and do some relationship building. Talk about the person as invited by Brittany or your why. And then you'll need to determine the exact time, because it was just blocks of time. Like, can you meet Friday afternoon or Tuesday night? But like, what is your exact date and time that you all can collaborate on for your very next meeting that will happen sometime between now and October 25th. So you have a month to study and then time to get your call in there. And then see if someone has a Zoom. Yeah, and if not, then let us know, because we'll need to make sure that somebody has access to a Zoom room. And any support that might be needed to participate, just check around and just check on people. You know, it's mutual aid and liberation right inside the Zoom space. See if anybody needs anything. And I think that might be about it. There will be, the facilitators will be sent templates and all kinds of good things to send your emails out with your curriculum. So be looking for that following this. But I think Jennifer sent me a message. Let me just, yeah. Okay, cool. Yep, Jennifer's saying that she's finished assigning groups. And if you didn't get, if you're not going into a group immediately, it just means Jennifer has a question for you. So you'll probably be in the waiting room just a minute longer, and then she'll put you into your space. So I'm tired of talking. I know y'all tired of hearing me talk. Y'all are now going to get a chance to talk to each other in your spaces, build relationships, and yeah, super excited. So go into these spaces. It is 7:36 now. I'm saying let's be in there till, let's come out about, let's give you some time. Let's give you some time. Let's see, how about we come out at 8:15? Sound good? All right, Jennifer, your magic can happen anytime. And if you have any questions, pop back out. There's an email.
Kim, will you be sending us the email list of everybody from our respective groups?
Yes, there's actually a spreadsheet with all that created that the facilitators will be getting with your own individual list.
Yay. Okay, cool. Because I was in the process of populating it. Okay, perfect. So I got y'all Saturday group. I got y'all's emails already. And I'll be sending y'all the Zoom link.
Any other questions from anyone?
I just want to ask for the readings that they're expected, or we're all expected to do for the next session. Is that reading the entire book for the Indigenous Peoples' History? Or?
No, and that's actually just an extra resource. That's kind of like if you want to go into the rabbit hole.
Right.
Here's some resources for you. But they're really the piece around the self-reflection, those kinds of tools. So the piece around the land, the podcast, those are the things for folks to do. But that's a rabbit hole. Go for it. Some good stuff in there. What other questions? Everybody got your number 2 pencil? Just kidding. We're mostly all like doing it with the, on this keyboard. Oh, Steph's got a question. What are folks excited about? You can drop it in the chat and just spend a few minutes hearing what people are super stoked about. What's got you hyped? My group, I heard some. Now I'm not even gonna tell you what we're gonna do. We're just gonna surprise you. We are just gonna surprise you at the next SMA. What are y'all super stoked about? Community, you people, community, connecting, community, healing and discovery. Yes, unlearning, materializing in relationship. Wisdom and skills, community and transformation. Yep, y'all can continue to populate that as much as you want. Maybe Chief Laudo would let us share their liberation playlist for a little bit of dance party in our last few minutes together as we get ourselves free and spend a little time.
Nice. Well, you know, we actually just arrived at the springs here in Somisek, and we're gonna do our equinox offering at the spring. So I'll just take y'all with me to the spring. Hi. No, this is my son. Hi. So we're gonna walk over to the springs, and I can sing a little song to close us off.
Look how perfect that is. That's beautiful. Thank you, Chief Laudo. Beautiful.
So during our water pilgrimage, this is one of the places that I would come during the full moons, which was just a couple of days ago. So we're really happy to be here. So I'll show y'all. For those of you that are from Texas, this is in New Braunfels. It's the Comal Springs. So we come here during the equinoxes and solstices and our New Year ceremonies, and we offer some songs. So I'll share a song that we actually wrote out of some of our work as water protectors in the Two Rivers camp in West Texas. It's a song that I co-wrote with some of my relatives. Yana wana heyo eno, yana heyo eno, yana yo. Water is life, heyana, hey ne yo. Yana wana heyo eno, yana heyo eno, yana yo. Water is life, heyana, hey ne yo. Our indigenous existence is our resistance, yana yo. Awakening our warriors, hey yana, hey ne yo. Our indigenous existence is our resistance, Yanayoi. Awakening our warriors, hey Ana, hey Neyoe. Yana wana, hey oeno, Yana, hey oeno, Yana yoi. Water is life, hey Ana, hey Neyoe. Yana wana, hey oeno, Yana, hey oeno, Yana yoi. Water is life, hey Ana, hey Neyoe. Our indigenous existence is our resistance, Yanayoi. Awakening our warriors, hey Yana, hey Neyoe. Our indigenous existence is our resistance, Yanayoi. Awakening our warriors, hey Yana, hey Neyoe. Aho, Tlasukamati. So we started in ceremony and we end in ceremony. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for letting me close out as well.
Thank you, Chief Laura. Like you said, begin and end in ceremony. That's how we want to hold this space always, keeping it sacred. Deeply grateful for your time today and for being here with us in this community that we're growing. Take good care of yourselves. Oh, Nyawe.
Tlasukamati.